right, we'll call the meeting to order.
Oh, thank you.
Do a roll call.
Lazar? Here. Echo? Here. Garcia? Here. Krajewski?
Here.
Rutledge? Here. Tornatori?
We have a quorum. We have anybody signed up for public comment?
No public comment.
Anybody else want to make public comment? Okay, chairman's remarks. The chairman does not have any remarks today. We'll get a motion to approve our minutes from the Tuesday,
moved.
March 15th. Corrections, additions. Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. So we'll go into our one procurement item. Get a motion for ASP 0165-22. Recommendation for our contract to RWE Design Build. Any questions, comments?
Excited.
Yeah.
I was at Hinsdale when they had their little fundraiser event, and they just opened their building and did meet those RWE guys, and I guess they did the West Suburban Humane Society too. So
Yeah, and they just are finishing up South Suburban Humane, which is
so they
beautiful.
appear to be
Yeah.
the experts out in this area doing
Yeah.
this. Both of those facilities, Hinsdale and West Suburban, both now. All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And then move on to our 7A, our grant proposal notification, motion for GPN 028-22.
So moved.
Second.
Questions, comments, another 20,000 coming from front. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. And move on to our resolution FIR 020822. I get a motion of acceptance appropriation.
So moved.
Second.
Page Animal Friends Foundation. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So Sam, I'm showing up here. We got a full house now. Administrative update, Laura.
Yeah, so I wanted to say thank you to all of our community support for giving DuPage days, and especially DuPage Animal Friends. They did a phenomenal job once again on the campaign, and we came in #1 at just over $56,000. And we had a goal of 50. So we had a fun time at Dry City and Wheaton afterwards, kind of getting together in person, and just kind of seeing people in person again was sort of nice. And but this virtual event has been such a huge benefit for the community. You know, we were just also rallying around a lot of the other organizations that were fundraising. It's fun to see those numbers going up. So thank you to everybody that helped us with that. We also have opened up the vehicle and started doing some surgeries for feral fixers. The struggle to get a veterinarian has been real. So we're trying out some different dates. We did lose our old veterinarian. So we have a new one, but the challenge has been working with their schedule. So, and we also lost our part-time vet tech that normally comes in. She's having a baby. So we're hopeful, I know. So we're hopeful to try to keep our numbers up for feral fixtures again this year, but it might be a little bit down depending on this vet's availability. And so we're also looking at different ways we can maybe help some of the other area shelters or rescue groups with some medical services if they're falling behind with vet shortages too. Yeah.
Is it vet tech? Is that the vehicle vet tech?
Correct, Rachel.
Rachel from
Yeah,
Indiana?
she's having her
Second one?
third
Third
third baby. So
But Rachel was just doing the one day on the vehicle?
she was just doing 1 day a week on the vehicle. Yeah, she was trained really well on just what that flow looks like in such a tight space, moving all the animals.
She was coming from Indiana. So.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
We intakes have definitely been steady. We're still seeing that increase of requests from out of county too. We're trying to manage our population and meeting the needs of our local community first, but we've had about 624 domestics come in so far. I was curious to see how our adoptions were trending compared to prior years, and actually our adoptions are up even though it doesn't feel like it. And you know, as we looked at what's happening, I think some of the animals that are staying with us longer. Like the highly adoptable ones are moving pretty quickly. So we're trying to come up with some things to help move some of the harder to place animals, which at the end of the day are like our large dogs. So we're also working with the Chicagoland Humane Coalition. That's that coalition of area shelters to do some awareness. We're working with Chicago Animal Care and Control, South Suburban, Hinsdale, so a lot of other shelters to try to launch something. I think our launch date right now is June 15th. I'm going to run that through the summer, have a special web page set up just to talk about, you know, what to prepare for when adopting a big dog. So hopefully we don't see them coming back into the shelter. things that are great about adopting a big dog, resources you might need to help you transition and act that big dog acclimated. This has been the year of the German Shepherd, we've been saying in the shelter, a lot of Shepherd mixes coming in. And still our normal larger pitties that are always just kind of hard to place.
When you say you have 620 domestics coming in, do you mean cats, dogs, rabbits, or all
Mice,
animals?
yeah, well, I'm not including the wildlife in that because we do take in wildlife, but we're not doing wildlife rehab. It's usually humane euthanasia if they're sick or injured or, yeah, so, and our top three are still the cats, dogs, and rabbits. And kitten season has started. It's been a slow start, which is nice, but we know that it's coming. So, yeah, we're starting to get kittens in. And we even have a pig, for those of you that had a chance to see on our social media.
It's
Petunia the
adorable.
pig is very popular right now. So we'll be likely, if she's not reclaimed by somebody, working with a pig rescue to find her appropriate placement. So, yeah, but happy to answer any questions if you guys.
Do your adoption numbers, do those include the ones that are pulled by the rescues?
No, we did not include, that's categorized as a separate outcome number.
And is that's more than what we adopt out?
They're usually about 50-50.
50-50?
Yeah, it's usually about 50-50.
Questions on the administrative update? Okay, move on to old business. We have a resolution FIR 0198-22, recommendation for an additional appropriation for animal services.
So moved.
Comments, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. So I get a motion for FIR 0199-22, resolution recommendation for interfund loan from the general fund.
So
Second.
Questions, comments? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. I get a motion for FIR 0215-22, resolution for approval of the use of ARPA funds.
moved.
Second.
Questions, comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, that motion carried. And last, we get a motion for FIR 0214-22, resolution, additional
So moved.
appropriation.
Second.
Questions, comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Any new business?
I do.
That's done.
I'm going to read this because it's really important that I get all the facts right. So if that's okay. I had a long conversation with Mark Ayers last week, and the facts are these as I understand them. Regarding the passage of HB 1711 last year, Petland has closed 5 stores. 3 stores are still open, but they're in compliance with the public ban law. Happiness is Pets has completely left the state, so that is good news. The problem is Furry Babies. Furry Babies still has stores operating in Aurora, Lombard, and Rockford. How are they still operating? They have relinquished their pet shop operator license, which was the license affected by HB 1711, and they have instead received a dog dealer license. There have been fewer than 30 dog dealer licenses in the state of Illinois, and they cover personal home breeders who might breed a litter here and there and then sell the animals out of their homes. The dog dealer license is not intended for retail pet stores, but Furry Babies and their lawyers have discovered that loophole. There is trailer legislation in the works to update the definition of dog dealer. The House lead is Jonathan Carroll out of Lake County, who is the chairman of the Consumer Protection Committee. It's a technical fix, a definition update to beef up the dog dealer legislation. But right now it's stuck in committee, and I don't trust Springfield to get it out of committee right now. So I'm not trusting Springfield to do the job. And obviously now there is the city of Aurora, because last Wednesday, the city of Aurora, the council, Aurora's home rule, passed a city ordinance saying that dog dealers must spay or neuter the animals they sell or be fined $500 per puppy per day. So that goes into effect in the next couple of weeks. So hopefully that will impact the Furry Babies in the Fox Valley Mall in Aurora. There's nothing we can do about the Furry Babies in Rockford. But even though we aren't home rule, Mark would like to meet with me, Chairman Krajewski, Laura, and our policy guy, Jason Blumenthal, sometime early in June to discuss, and one of our state's attorneys, to discuss if we, as the county, could do something like the city of Aurora did in order to force the Furry Babies in Lombard to close its doors. As a reminder, DuPage County passed a humane ordinance under public nuisance back in, I want to say October 27th, yep, 2020. And I'm wondering if we could do something like this to hopefully close the furry babies in Lombard. And that's all I have.
I think on that too, I think maybe we want to meet with the village of Lombard too. They may want to now, I mean, before they're a little hesitant, but they may be able to go down the zoning issue to
Okay.
ban it. It's similar to what Lyle did. Lyle is not home rule. They lost, I think, the same year after Lombard lost their home rule back in the late 70s, but they use a combination of zoning to pretty much not allow it anywhere in Lyle.
Right.
And so, again, they didn't use the home rule, they used some zoning rules that they have within the municipal code under the state law. So Lombard didn't want to approach that because they were waiting to see what happened at state.
So this is a conversation that you'd like to have?
Sure, no, yeah, I think, you know, I knew Aurora was going forward with what they did, if they thought that would take care of it, although I don't know about spaying and neutering 8-month-old or 8-week-old dogs and cats. I mean, they're not old enough yet to do it, but they're gonna have to do that if that law
And
passes.
we have to change the age in which they're.
Are they selling them at 6 weeks and 8 weeks?
8 weeks. Yeah, they're bringing them in. They're still bringing mill dogs, and they're bringing fur babies is bringing them in from Lake County, Indiana.
Yeah.
You know, there's a not-for-profit that all of a sudden sprung up. It wasn't even a not-for-profit. They may have kind of fixed that, but they were trying to get in by selling rescue dogs, and they're just bringing them. They're wrapping a mill around a not-for-profit. And so they're selling at 8 weeks old, which, you know, I had a conversation with Margo. That's kind of young for,
Spaying and neutering, yeah.
they're gonna have to, I mean, they'll have to do it. That's what the rules are. Sure, anything that's shut the last 3 now, or 2 at least.
So Laura, could you set up a meeting with us?
Yeah,
For,
definitely.
Mark said the first week in June,
June, sure.
and make sure we have an attorney, state's
Yeah.
attorney available, maybe Jason.
We may want to include Scott Nienhauser with that.
Yeah, I
just
remember Scott from.
From Lombard.
And then over, yeah,
just to see,
perfect.
you know.
Thank you. Thank you for indulging. me.
other
I was
new
really
business?
concerned about furry babies changing their practices to dog dealer, and it seems underhanded and.
I can forward you guys all to the email from Furry Babies. They, because Seth Lewis sits on the consumer price. John Carroll's got that trailer bill, and they were trying to get some legislation through to kind of open up the puppy mills again. And, you know, Seth, of course, was voted no, and he was very staunch about it, basically because of DuPage County. And he got a letter from the Furry Babies lady saying that, you know, that he was the worst legislature in the entire state, and just doesn't understand it.
I just think we've come so far with this ban thing. Let's, you know, finally put a period at the end of
The
this.
Illinois Department of Ag has since, I believe, changed their dog dealer application to try to prevent that from happening in the future. That's my understanding too, so.
Any other new business? Okay, without section, you're adjourned.